Welcome, passenger. Before Stranger Things, there was a place. Before the Upside Down, there was a radar station at the edge of the Atlantic. And before the stories, there was silence. Tonight isn't about proving anything strange happened there. It's about how a real location built for secrecy became the foundation for one of the most unsettling modern myths, and how that myth went on to inspire fiction the world now recognizes as the television show Stranger Things. The sky is black as a dead cat, and the road stretches before us. Make sure you're buckled in, because tonight we're going to Montauk. Montauk Point was a strategic location. Montauk sits at the eastern tip of Long Island, New York. For centuries, it was isolated by design. Difficult to reach, easy to watch from. During World War II and the Cold War, that made it very valuable. Atop the bluffs sat Montauk Air Force Station. Its primary function was radar detection, early warning systems designed to detect incoming aircraft and missiles. This is documented military history, by the by. The station operated from the 1950s until it was decommissioned in 1981. And then it was left behind. For years, there were no tours, no public access, no official explanations beyond former military use. Abandoned military sites naturally attract curiosity. This one attracted stories. In the decades after the base closed, rumors began to circulate. Claims included everything from psychological experiments, time travel, mind control, and children taken from nearby communities. These claims, of course, are not verified. They originate primarily from anecdotal accounts and second-hand stories, and later a famous book titled The Montauk Project, which was published in 1992. The book, by Preston B. Nichols, presents its claims as truth, but provides no physical evidence and relies heavily on recovered memories and testimony. In Mr. Nichols' book, he claims the following. He worked with advanced technology, he recovered suppressed memories, and he had direct involvement with secret programs at Montauk. These claims, of course, have never been independently verified, but the ideas themselves were specific and unsettling, to say the least. According to Nichols, Montauk was not just a radar base. He alleged it was used for a gamut of things, including psychological experiments, mind control research, electromagnetic manipulation, and eventually time-related experimentation. That's the one that got my gray matter going. He further claims that children were brought to the base. Subjects were exposed to trauma. Thoughts could be amplified using technology. Objects could allegedly be manifested through focused consciousness. One of his most cited claims involved a device sometimes referred to as the Montauk chair. A chair, he said, that could amplify mental energy. Imagine what that would go for on Amazon. There is no physical evidence that this device existed, however. No photos, no schematics, no corroboration, nor would there be for something so highly valuable. Only the testimony remains. So why did these claims spread? Nichols' book arrived at a particular moment in time. The Cold War had ended. Classified programs were being actively revealed. MK Ultra had entered public awareness, a very famous classified program, and trust in our institutions was already damaged. People had learned, correctly so, that governments sometimes lie. So, when Nichols said this was hidden too, some people listened. It didn't seem out of the realm of possibility. It all felt very, very real. Especially because the place itself was real, was tangible, was in Montauk. Now, Montauk is connected to another famous incident that took place on the USS Eldridge, and you may or may not know where I'm going with this, but stick with me. This key story involves the World War II destroyer Eldridge being pulled into hyperspace during an event known as the Philadelphia Experiment, which was linked to Montauk through similar experimentation, according to Mr. Nichols. He further claims that there was alien involvement at the base, with multiple stories of human-alien interaction and alien technology being used. Montauk didn't become famous because of what happened there. It became famous because no one explained what didn't. The structure remained. The silence lasted decades, and still does. So, the stories filled the silence, and fiction thrives in places that refuse to explain themselves. Some say Nichols was making the whole thing up, and him being the only source of information. That could quite possibly be the case. I'll leave that for you to decide with your own research down the line. So, how does Stranger Things enter the story? The creators of Stranger Things, the Duffer Brothers, have publicly stated that their original concept for the show was titled Montauk, strangely enough. Early drafts were set in Montauk, New York. It involved a secret government facility, children and experimentation, and a small community near something that it did not understand. They later moved the setting to Indiana, but the inspiration remained. This is a documented creative choice, not a hidden confession. The show didn't claim Montauk was real, but certainly borrowed its concept. The show drew inspiration from the government secrecy, the Cold War paranoia, children at the center of unseen psychic systems, and stories exactly like those that Nichols had popularized. Of course, this is no better than urban legends, but the DNA of the mystery was baked right into the show. Montauk for us is where fiction begins. Stranger Things didn't expose Montauk. It reimagined it, made it commercial, you could say. And in doing so, it reminded people of a truth older than television. That secrecy creates stories. Abandoned places invite imagination. And sometimes fiction is just what remains after the facts stop talking. So if you're driving tonight and pass a building you're not allowed to go into, remember, it's probably for the best. Some places don't inspire fear because of what happened there. They inspire fear because no one ever said what didn't. Montauk is pretty strange, but luckily for us, there are stranger things out there.